GMB Pros, welcome everyone. On Tuesday with Reese Southern. Happy New Year, everyone. Brad, Nathan, Happy New Year. Hopefully everybody's New Year and the beginning here, 9 days into the new year has been a blessing and everybody's on track with momentum, right? Um, so I appreciate you guys. I had a rough start. I was just telling the team, don't want to be a downer, but my father passed away on the 2nd. So we're kind of in the middle of that. But thank you. Those that are catching the replay, those that are here live, I appreciate you guys. Thank you for your support. Today with Reese, we have a Q&A, right? Q&A roundtable starting the new year. Everything, as far as CTR, we talked about proxies, we talked about math. So it's kind of open forum participation. So those that are on here, if you have any specific question, guys, it's going to be open forum specifically, and then we'll just rant and riff as as you guys take the call today. So it's more of a Q&A. Reese, man, how are you, man?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty well. Good to be back. I had a
Yes.
little bit of time off over the new year, not too much, but always good to take it easy for a week or two. Um, yeah, doing
Uh,
well.
awesome.
It's quite
Um,
cold here at the moment, so just sort of
yeah.
sticking indoors and keeping warm.
Yes, sir. So one thing I know you asked me the other day, and guys, feel free to chime in anytime or type in your question as far as it's just a roundtable Q&A today with CTR, right? So one of the things, and it looks like Google has let off again a little bit, is the reviews you had messaged me. How is that coming along for you?
Yeah, so I think now it's clients are sort of
They let off a little
complaining
Google?
less a bit. I mean, the issue, a lot of people were coming to us and saying that like their clients can't leave reviews or reviews aren't going up in general. So it's funny how Google's always, I mean, there's a fine line between balancing spam and sort of stopping genuine customers from leaving reviews because, it's all automated and there's a lot of algorithms that go involved into the systems. But when customers are coming to you and saying that they're clients, they're real clients that are in their office, that are on their phone,
Yes.
leaving a review and the review's not showing up, maybe you think Google goes a little bit too far sometimes.
Yeah.
And it always comes up every few months. I mean, they have to, of course, they have to fight spam, but on the other side, it's a little bit crazy when you got all of these sort of Google like Gmail accounts and customers can't leave reviews and businesses can't get reviews. But what I found as well, I did a bit of testing, of course, and it's interesting that it seems to be more so the home services type clients that are complaining like this, like stores, shops, um, even small shops that might not have any reviews or might have a few reviews. It's mainly targeting the businesses that generate a lead from Google. Not a shop where someone walks in and maybe buys something, but businesses where a lead is generated, like a plumber or an electrician in the homewares, and then maybe lawyers and accountants and things like that as well. But it's funny that like they're targeting specific industries or specific sectors and clamping down in that regards.
Right.
It's interesting.
That's funny you say that because like for my client base, right? I'm heavy into like service base those business home services and all the niche ones, the garage, the locksmiths, the roofers, right? So I think I see it, or I'm more sensitive to it um a lot. So I know Google has calmed down a little bit and is letting stuff through. Another thing that I notice, right when you asked me that, is even liking reviews. Well, we were having a hard time. I don't know if you saw that. They weren't
We
even
don't
letting,
generally do that. The client, none of our clients said anything, but
no.
something that was funny was couldn't delete a review.
Mm. Yes, I think that some of the VAs asked me this or told me the same thing, that they couldn't delete it either.
There was a way, but you had through the main method, it just, you click it and there's an error. I was reading on the Google Search Console forums, and a lot of people were complaining about
Yeah.
that they can't delete reviews, and it seems oddly correlated to people complaining that they can't leave reviews as well. Like the fact that it's a bug at the same time that everyone's whinging that you can't post a review seems like a massive coincidence.
So,
But what if they're trying to sort of look at the ratio between like how many reviews are on a business and how many reviews are not like are hidden that don't show. Because if people are spamming and they're maybe trying to leave 50 reviews in a week, if they don't show up, they're just going to keep adding them. So maybe there's some sort of like algorithmic penalty to having too many reviews on your profile that aren't actually showing as being live. I don't know. We can only
yeah.
speculate.
Yeah. So one of the things that and this is not my idea, but I think it's a great idea. I don't know how many people NF NF what is it called? NFS? NFTs, not NFTs, where you can tap on your cell phone.
And yeah. And yeah, I know what you're talking about.
It's
What
like
is
a
it?
wand or a
NFC.
card, NFCs. And there's a very affordable way out there that you can pick these up for like pennies. Well, not pennies, but very inexpensive, like under $1, um, maybe right around $1 with shipping. And you can program these. So as an after gift to our clients, one of the things that I would suggest is sending them this. Maybe with shipping, it costs us about under $1. And like, hey, put this um in your lobby if you're like a dentist. Put this or give each one to your technicians, right? For those plumbers out there that have more than one crew, the roofer and crew, to make it easy, right? Or even if somebody goes, so if you're like in water damage or even in the plumbing and you handled a damage claim with insurance, usually you go out to collect the check, right? So at that moment, having that, tap your phone and to leave a review. This is not my idea, guys, but I thought it was a great one when they mentioned it to me. And I'm gonna have Sean on here in a few days with simple, stupid results is gonna be the title of it. And he gave me that idea. I'm like, man, it's awesome, right? To help with that review situation.
And we do a lot of follow up with emails and SMS, like automated systems. And that's sort of how we caught on to, I mean, a lot of the customers were sort of responding back saying, oh, I left a review left, like, thanks for reaching out. I've left a review, and then nothing was showing up. So,
Yeah.
but that's another step. I mean, being in the face at the customer's home after you've done a great job, it's as simple as the tap of the back of your phone.
Hmm.
That's a really good way of increasing the amount of reviews you've got. And it spreads out the area. Like we all know that the location that the review is left from and the location that the person lives that leaves the review is very important. So going out and doing it in the home of the customers is just fantastic for ranking and for client satisfaction and just people trusting your business.
Yeah, 100%.
Not
Because
always
guys,
about just ranking your website and doing stuff on the computer. It's a full, I mean, our job at the end of the day is to make the businesses more money. If they're making more money, if their phone's ringing more, they're happy. So that's a fantastic idea.
yeah, 100%. And that's exactly what I was going to lead into because CTR, right? It alone won't work. CTR is it's a part of a recipe and a formula, especially for me in my experience, right? I can only speak on myself. Reviews is being a big block of that. Now, one thing that I learned is rank diversification, right? So even if Google says, hey, I'm gonna harp on reviews and shut that down or whatever the case may be, but because you're hitting all the other factors, aka you're doing stuff to the website, tying in the website with the GMB, fully developing the Google profile, getting traffic, the right amount of traffic, and diversify that, right? And then reviews being another one of those things. So if one of these is not firing, it'll still work because you have that ranking diversification, right? So, and there is a such thing as, we'll take as an example, SEO on site. Like if you just do like keyword stuffing, that's only going to take you to a certain level. That's going to spike. Out of all the factors, if you have that one you're working on, Google will suppress that till you kind of spread it out. And it's going to help you stay white label. It's going to help you because no matter what Google changes, you're spread out and you have that balance. So you're not dropping off of the face of the earth for your clients. You might go up or down a little bit, but you're still within striking distance till the dust settles. So reviews is being one of them, but tie that in with the rest of it. Tie the website in. In fact, I think Riz, we did a case study, right? Where all you did was on page, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken, right?
Yeah,
That's
we did.
all you did. And
Hmm.
boom,
And
it
it
bumped
shot
it
up.
up. Yeah.
I mean, and it now, since then, actually, that same business has gone completely green for the whole, basically, or not even basically, for the whole world. It ranks number two for the primary plus city. So we did the on page, it worked. We set out a review campaign by automating the review system like we spoke about. And then we hit it with some CTR and it's just shot up and it's now in the map pack for the brand city, what is it? Geo modifier and then the keyword
Keyword. Yep.
for variations as well. It's funny that, but only for the with the geo. I found that interesting. It
Yeah.
happened in December. There was an update, and I saw a lot of that. A lot of our clients, a lot of sort of my businesses, they shot up into the map pack nationwide for the generic for the geomodified term.
Right.
I think it has a bit to do with the branded CTR, to be honest. They all get it, and I think Google's rewarding that a little bit more lately.
Absolutely. So that goes a lot. It says a lot. So guys, obviously we speak about brand, getting Google to recognize you, the knowledge panel, the reviews, right? But that's what I found lately as far as the CTR with the reviews, tying it all together with the website. I made a change because I made that mistake of just like focusing just on the GMB, and then Google decided to change the game on me. So I've definitely had to diversify in my skills with the SEO. Kyle, how you doing, man? If he comes on, can you hear me? Brett, where are you located? I didn't even ask.
I'm in Dallas.
Dallas. My brother's in Dallas. So my brother bought a home at the old location of the Dallas Stadium. I think it's by the university now. The university took it over.
That's in Irving.
The old one, the old facility,
Well, the
the one
old
they knocked.
stadium, if you're talking about the Cowboys,
Yeah, it's in Irving.
yes.
Ah, okay, okay. Yeah, I think you're right in the sense that how far is that from Dallas? About an hour or more?
No, 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 no.
Less? More?
It borders Dallas County. It's in Dallas County.
Yeah, because when I went to visit my brother, we did the whole tour out there. And they have a great tour uh for the stadium. It was pretty cool.
The new stadium's in Arlington, so depending on time of day, if you're traveling over to Arlington, I don't think it'd be an hour, but the new stadium is phenomenal.
Yes, it is. Where are you at with your business, Brad? Are you using CTR or what type agency do you run?
I got one client right now with 28 branches,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going up against we're the fifth largest that company is. They do about 400 million, and they're going up against company with 5 billion in sales a year, and I've got them beat pretty well.
Nice.
Not just by the office, but going out, you know. I use local brand manager, and so I use that to check the queries, and so it's I thought I'd jump in and see what this is all about. You're talking CTR. What's CTR? Click-through rate? What?
Yeah, click-through rate, click-through manipulation.
Oh,
That's
okay.
what Riz and I do. And like today is every other couple of weeks we talk about different method, what's working. Sometimes we go into case studies. Sometimes we do literally over the shoulder, what rate to do it in. What's the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? Some people,
Yeah, we focus on the CTR manipulation, sort of sending extra clicks to get positive signals to Google. But of course, it's not everything you need to do. So we often chat about other techniques and tactics and sort of I'm a big believer and a big speaker of doing the complete package and everything sort of adds up and there's not one single thing you can do to rank a business or rank a map profile. You have to show the trust and the authority, and you have to build that over time and do different techniques and different practices. And yeah, so today's really just a Q&A, sort of
yeah.
open
I I
table chat.
I
So
get it.
do you have any
I
questions or anything,
I get it.
anything
I've
you'd
been
like
in the
to know?
business for about 20 years. So you know,
Nice.
Nice. Okay.
Got anything to share? Anything to add?
well, Reese, the ones that aren't getting the reviews, are they service business profiles? Are they Google?
Service businesses is in like service-based businesses like plumbers and accountants and technicians and electricians, but
That might be harder.
it's not dependent on if the address is visible or not. Like if
I
it's not
I
super
I get
relevant if
it.
it's a service-based business.
I get it, but that's one that Google's been cracking down on. So that might be the problems that
Yeah,
you're having
definitely.
getting reviews through.
Yeah, it's interesting to see. I mean, they go to the point where customers in the shop can't leave reviews. I mean, that's pretty crazy to me. Like every few months they make updates and they go so far one way and then they pull it back to the other way and then they're like, oh, well, there's a bunch of spam and then they delete it and then they delete more and then clients lose real reviews and then the cycle repeats.
Are you noticing that in your niche, Brett, or you're good?
No, the company's got about 25,000 reviews. We use a company called Bird Eye,
Mhm.
and after any site visit to a home, the customer gets a automatic review request. And since it's set up through an API and that Bird Eye monitors, they know it's not spam. And so I've increased this company's reviews from, I don't know, 4,000 to 25,000 plus.
Well,
Nice.
that's an achievement.
That's definitely been one of my like growth in my growth with my agency is you definitely have to adapt, right? And that whole SMS tech messaging or some type of follow-up, automated follow-up. I think it's huge as far as getting reviews and being legit. Um, which is something that I've grown to. I can say honestly that it wasn't not a part of my arsenal toolbox for clients, and it's been you have to adapt. You have to bring that on, whatever tool you use. Uh, Go High Level, I think, has a great funnel for follow up and nurturing. That's super cool. It's a high learning curve, but I think once you set it up and you have everything dialed in, and I even think the first 90 days with Go High Level, they have like almost instant 24-hour support that can get you dialed in. But definitely you have to adapt to that whole review and getting reviews and soliciting legitimate reviews from real customers, whether you earn 4, 3, 2, or 5 stars. I think it'll make a difference.
Additionally, I'm a firm believer in backlinks, and if you're not getting the reviews in, you might check the number of backlinks you've got going to the website. You can always augment over here, at least in the States. And the guy I have done some business with, it's Spine PR. He's on Facebook. You can do a $99 press release. He'll even write it for you.
Mhm.
And then you get, it's released. I'm not sure what he's got in your area, Reese, but he's worldwide, and it's inexpensive for the client, and it helps build page authority, and so you're not fighting that page authority problem, domain authority, getting reviews. The reviews have to be steady as well. You just can't, come in and get 10 reviews on one day and then none the next. You can't, it's got to build up.
Definitely.
Yeah, the velocity is very
PR a few
important.
times.
The consistency, and I mean, Google monitors all of that, of course.
Kyle, how you doing, man?
Yeah, doing all right. Just got off a client meeting and just trying to sort through all my notes. It's a accounting firm in my area and just trying to figure out strategy going forward. They've traditionally only had me doing their content marketing for social media, and I'm a local SEO agency, so it's just something they really pushed me to do, and it wasn't it wasn't my bread and butter, but they did it because they trust me and I knew their brand and knew their messaging and knew how they wanted to write and communicate with their clientele. So now we're just switching gears over to more of a lead focused strategy, and it should be interesting to see what we can do for their BD going forward.
Awesome, awesome. Now, where are you located at?
Vancouver, Canada.
Okay, nice, nice. And then do you are you a niche, or do you kind of generalize? Are you more of a service-based agency?
So I have one full service agency. I also have three niche agencies that I run to get lead sources. So focusing on, one, for example, just entirely different brand, entirely different name, that focuses on automotive and tire dealers. But they're all local SEO focused. So it's interesting when I get the call in. Basically, I just chose industries that I've worked for over the last, 15 years or so, and I have firsthand knowledge of, so that should they call me and ask about it, I might still steer them back to billing through my main full service agency, but I can talk the talk during the conversation, and the webpage shows some very specific information about the niche that they can recognize right away, knowing I have the knowledge.
Awesome. Yeah, it's great. So let me ask you, do you in your recipe deliverables or in your arsenal, do you utilize CTR?
No,
Not at all.
I've tried it. I think I paid someone maybe off legit or something like that at one point to try to do it. There's a couple other more credible companies out there that do CTR. It's just, I'll mess around with stuff on my own properties. But there's very few things I trust to use on a client. And it's funny that he mentioned Spine PR, because it's one of the ones that's more of a new introduction through Nixon, that the guy who runs that company, that I've started trusting to add to my stack. But I don't trust 2.0 niche edits, all the things that people try to sell you on, because I've seen them tank websites, and I haven't found a credible source that I believe in for them.
So I think Reese can agree with me, right? Like where you do your CTR, how you do your CTR. And you said something that really resonates, because I did it on myself. Who you can trust, right? So I think in like, even like Brad was talking about, like a trusted review management system, right? Like if it's coming from them or through them, kind of Google looks at it as a trustworthy. I think Reese can attest to that as far as the CTR, how it's coming, the velocity, all the settings, that it could be trusted. And a perfect example, and I think it goes on no matter all our deliverables or tools we use. And I'll take an example of domain authority. I think it was legit. In fact, man, I had another source, and I just wanted to try to see what the difference was. And I tried it on myself, and it tanked my category, my just, man, it was awful. Like,
Yeah, I've seen grids
overnight.
disappear overnight. Yeah.
Yeah, and the only thing I did was that PR, or that domain authority. Yeah, that vanity matrix is there, but the aftermath or blowback from that,
Do anything if the site doesn't rank.
yeah, it was awful.
Mhm.
But definitely it just resonates. And I think that's kind of a theme that we have, is somebody reputable, somebody that does it right, somebody that you can trust, right? Even with PRs, right? Like what happens with the PR after that I think will make the difference. And we talked about backlinking. I think it's all the best practices of like people that we trust, because we can take the best practices and mess it up, right? Royally.
Well, I mean, because it's borderlining between gray hat and white hat, right? It's and CTR is definitely gray hat and maybe even darker. It's just but there's certain things we know. I mean, from the recent Google situation in the US, we know full well that click metrics are important. It is a huge ranking factor. And I might feel comfortable, sending an extra 30 clicks a month from an obscure source and just having that automated for each month. But, I remember one guy that was like, oh yeah, I'll just send 25,000 clicks to your site. I was like, stop. And, but they're, I don't care how many, drives they have cycling IP addresses and VPNs from all these different sources, and how they've got driving directions running around that IP. I don't care what they believe they're doing. And maybe Reese can speak more in the strategy of it. I'm not sure who the expert is of it, but it scares the shit out of me to
Yeah, I mean, it's all about a sort of consistent approach and building it up. Like, you always want to start with branded search and then sort of build from there.
and that
And
makes sense. Yeah.
I mean, if you're not ranking, you're not getting clicks. So you need to find keywords you rank for. Even if there's no normal search term for them, you need to find keywords you rank for first.
Yeah.
because you can't be getting, even if it's only a few clicks, you can't be getting clicks from page 7 or 8. Like,
Oh, you can't
pretty
be.
obvious to Google. Like if it's obvious to you from like looking in Search Console that it's fake, it's gonna be obvious to Google,
Oh, that's
essentially.
interesting because that's the opposite way I went about it, and that's probably why it didn't yield the results. But I looked at Google Search Console. I looked at average rank position of 20 or higher, and then said go after those keywords so we can start bringing them down to where we want them to be.
Yeah, so I mean, if the volumes are low, it depends. Like you sort of when you're starting with a newer business and there's not much ranks, you definitely want to start with the branded search. When you're trying to increase keywords that are like page 2, to be honest, I wouldn't really hit much with CTR unless it's like already on page 1 or like at the top of page 2.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so you're basically saying like it's what makes you go from 5 to 1 or 2 position. You wouldn't mess
Yeah,
with
because
anyone that's not.
that extra sort of click-through rate. Sorry, the connections were broke up. What did you say there, Kyle?
No, that was it. I just think I said going from like 5th position to 1st would be when you start to involve CTR. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
So that's
yeah.
why I
Like
was
if
trying
you
to
sort
grab
of,
it.
I do a lot of maps. The map stuff is slightly different because you can do a lot of branded searches, and that sort of very quickly drives up rankings, like brand plus keyword, things like that. Before
Okay.
organic, yeah, definitely. It's that sort of final touch. Like you want to have your on page, you want to have your backlinks, you want to have a bit of authority and some rank, and then really it's that sort of final touch to push you over the edge. Because Google needs to expect the increase. I say that quite a lot. Like if you've got a page which doesn't rank so well and isn't optimized and it's not expecting extra clicks. Whereas if you optimize a page and you build backlinks and then it starts to climb and it goes up in the rankings and then you add CTR, Google's already expecting that you're going to get more clicks because they're already increasing the rank. So when you get more clicks than expected, if you do it right, you'll go up even further.
Okay.
But it is a fine line. I mean, it is easy to muck up. Like if you do too much, you can destroy the rankings of the page.
So what do you say if you're getting on average 100 clicks a month to your I guess I have to differentiate whether we're talking about Google Maps or we're talking about Google Search first off in this manipulation.
This conversation is probably more about organic
On search or on maps.
On search.
Okay. So then yeah, I don't know. If you're getting 100 clicks a month, what would you choose an arbitrary number that would be the amount of clicks going to it?
You want to sort of look at the competitors and what they're getting, and then you can work out how many clicks you should be getting depending on the positioning. And if you're already on the first page, then like you don't want to be getting more clicks than the #1 position, obviously, because that's just not natural. Okay. So there are things like viral campaigns where you can sort of send in a bunch of clicks quickly to imitate like virality, which works. But generally, you want to sort of see what the top competitors are getting, like the top 2 or 3 rankers, and build up to what they're getting. Like start with 10 or 20% and then build up.
So you're checking a competitor's branded keywords for their name. So let's say XYZ agency down my street is my main competitor. I look up their branded terms specifically for their name and how much traffic that branded name is getting. And
I'll
then
be talking for the primary keyword.
okay, so
more
primary
specifically.
keyword. Okay.
If you're already on page 1, then you're ready to go straight for the sort of primary keyword rankings.
Okay.
CTR, because you're already there, you're already getting clicks on page 1. Maybe you're sort of bouncing around position 10 or 11 and to 9. I'd go with the primary sort of primary keyword, and then work out a general rule is 10% of the competitor's traffic if you're already getting clicks and engagement, and then work up from there.
Okay.
I think that's a good rule of thumb there for Kyle. Depending on the keyword, the search volume, where you fall, compare to your competitor. And then I know Reese, if you look at the old recordings, Kyle, under Reese, he actually took the actual formula, kind of compared it. And again, it's just like a standard is not, I don't know, best practices or gold rule. There's no set in stone. Like you really have to play with it and see. And
I mean, Google gives us all.
slower is better.
Google's like the
Smaller is
only,
better.
it's the only platform that gives you all the information you need to rank. It's all right there. Like Facebook ads, you can't really see all of the things that go into a Facebook ad, but Google, it's all there. You analyze the page, you analyze the clicks, the traffic, the headings, the content, the backlinks, and if you match and mirror the competitors, eventually you'll get to the top.
Mm.
So it's really about the industries, and even the cities, like the same niche in different cities have different strategies often. And I'm sure you guys will find that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, be careful. Less is more with the CTR. I mean, a lot of my campaigns run a couple of clicks a day, and that's it.
So
But I'd
sorry,
say with the
is this a
branded,
service you offer, or I'm just coming in here clearly from not missing
yeah,
missing
so
the first 10 minutes.
I'm building a bot, but it's not finished yet. It's not out. It's in beta. It works, but there's no sort of front end dashboard, things like that. We're finishing that off and hoping to launch soon. But it's for Google Maps specifically.
Okay.
Plus, through William Jones too, we offer the white label. Reese does it. I know I focus on it. If you know, any of these would be great sources to test, and see like results and how effective or non-effective they are, right? Or come up with a game plan. That would definitely help you. So hopefully that was valuable or, you know, eye-opening a little bit, or give you something to think about, like aha moments, right? That's the ultimate goal of our these calls, right? Kind of give you,
I just want to feel comfortable, right? That's all it comes
yeah.
down to. And I don't want to gamble on a client's site. I can keep messing around with mine, and they're by the time I look at it, I've thrown in 3, you know, trials of something. I don't know which one was the one that actually caused the positive result. They're going, okay, well, one of them took me in the right direction. Which one was it? But yeah,
That's a lot of it.
and then which one I wish I knew which one that particular one was. Yeah, I don't know. I just,
It's hard in the industry. Like it's a big trade-off between sort of slowly implementing single things and results taking a long time, and sort of just doing a bunch of stuff because you want results quickly, and then figuring out which was it that actually helped. But often it's a combination. I mean,
could be.
like you can't just build backlinks and rank. You can't just do on page and rank. You can't just optimize the title of the name of your GMB and rank. Like you need a bunch of things, and it all correlates together.
I mean, I'd love trustworthy case studies of a 12-month span of knowing that CTR manipulation resulted in this over this period of time, or at least didn't tank them in that period of time. I'd feel a lot more confident knowing that that is a viable option. It's just another thing that moves the needle.
Yeah, I mean, if done properly, it definitely is. We've gone over different sort of results and stuff in the past, and I've never managed a campaign myself and sort of things have dropped to the point where you would blame a specific action in the drop. Like fluctuations are normal. Sure, there's been times where I've run campaigns and there weren't improvements, but I've never seen a campaign like fall off the face of the earth or drop out of the map pack or plummet just from like a CTR campaign.
Okay.
Unless you're running
It's reassuring.
a lot of clicks.
Or trying to do it on purpose. Yeah, because I know
You're trying to break something, sure. But like when we were testing, we would run hundreds of clicks a day testing the bot, and we just did it to the same business because, it's easier. And it was one of my properties that it wasn't really generating viable leads. Like, it ranked, but it didn't see it went up actually, which was quite interesting.
And now you just have to
I think
maintain
it's also,
it forever, otherwise it'll.
I mean, no, I'm not saying that's sustainable. Like, I wouldn't recommend hitting it with hundreds of clicks. Of course not. That goes against everything I say. But I think they filter out a lot of stuff that Google thinks is bad. They work a lot on anti-spam, like anti-negative SEO. I mean, if you can do something to any business yourself that stops it from ranking, that's a serious flaw in Google's algorithms.
Hmm.
I mean, that'd be pretty easy. You just hit all your competitors with 500 clicks a day, and they all drop out of the map pack, and then you make new businesses and they all climb. I mean, can be risky, can be done wrong, can cause issues if you're using bad bots and things like that. But yeah, I think a lot of people give it a bad stigma. Just they've either tried it in an isolated test and it didn't work, or they did too much and again, it didn't work.
Yeah, if you look back too, I know Ian and I did a case study where we took like high ranking, middle, low, I believe, and then we did like two each, if I remember right. Like if you high ranked and we did low, or we upped the search volume, and then low ranking, we just smashed it. And then we looked back, I think it was 30 days or 2 weeks later, what it did. And then we went try to go back and fix the ones we killed, try to put them back because we didn't want to do that to them. But you can definitely see the movement that we did. And it was a very short time. I think it was, if I remember right, it was 30 days because it was like Reese, he's on every other week and he skipped the day. And so it was about a month-ish, like where we see what happens when you hit it too high. But here's the thing too, you have to Google, when they change stuff, it changes CTR definitely. So you have to stay on it, keep improving it constantly. Well, not constantly, but especially with major changes, you have to make your tweaks. And that's why, like I was saying earlier, diversify your ranking factors. Don't just, like I did, put your eggs in one basket thinking nothing's going to change, because it did for me. Reviews changed the game. So now I incorporate SEO, the website, I incorporate the GMB and getting that organic. I play in the ads pillar or sandbox as well. So you have to play, because my 25% of the marketing can't be responsible for 100% of the marketing results, right? I only do GMB, SEO, and then do some ads. And then if you have reviews, customer service, now you're playing on everything and we can be responsible for 100%. But diversification, I think it's what's kind of where you're at, right, Kyle, as far as your accounting client. They know you did social media. Now they want to expand and play in different boxes to continue that growth. I think that's a smart move.
Well,
For everyone.
I have lots of local SEO clients, and they do exactly what you just described. That full, holistic kind of 4 points of GMB to website to ads to external sources coming into it. But I'm very conservative in what I do, and I've I can think of examples where I've had immigration lawyers to breweries to painters to everyone else, and they've just seen incredible GeoGrid expansion that's phenomenal. They're getting all the calls. I had an immigration lawyer call me 2 days ago, and he's like, "Man, I'm getting a call every fucking day. It's fantastic."
Mm-hmm.
I love to hear that, but then I've also got examples of people that it didn't do anything for, and that's like an HVAC client, for example, that the competition was just too much around the area, and that's when you start to eat away yourself, because I've only ever been fired twice from a client that just didn't move. And that's where I was going, okay, well, what are those other things that I should have considered perhaps in the overall mix.
Yeah, I mean, if it's
Um,
HVAC, they're most likely running CTR, very competitive niche.
and that's probably what the
HSTC,
competitors were doing to keep above them. Yeah.
exactly. Sometimes you gotta do it to stay ahead. I mean, it's not like it's part of my strategy, but as default, but that's not to say that it's like not possible to rank without it. It's just I'm sort of sitting here thinking a lot of what I do is my own properties and like partnerships with businesses where it's sort of they're basically my properties or I own a share of the business. So it's more about results.
Mm.
At the end of the day, I don't do reports. Like I don't send clients reports. They just get calls and they're happy with that. And we talk about revenue shares and things like that. So for me, it's about how quickly can I get calls and how quickly can we start making money. CTI definitely helps sort of speed that up for me. But for some clients, it might not be applicable. It might not be warranted. They might specifically say, don't do it.
And I
Yeah.
think I think that's the ultimate goal, right? All this garbage of CTOs, CTR manipulation, SEO, whatnot. At the end of the day, it is calls, because I don't know if you guys have ran into the situation where you green them out, they're number one and they still don't get calls,
Yeah.
because
No,
it's almost the opposite of what Kyle just mentioned. It's not that it's high competition, it's like no search volume, there's nothing there.
yeah, I've seen that before too. Yeah.
Yeah, and I ran into that. I'm like, I remember the first time, man, I'm speechless. What do I say?
Yeah, you did everything you said you were going to accomplish, and then now it's
Yeah.
not resulting in the calls. Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
feel that, and I appreciate what Reese said as well. It's that
I
that is
do
that is
have
the ultimate goal.
I do have two tests that I haven't shown yet from last month. I thought I had, but I hadn't. So I'll share my screen. I'll quickly go over them.
I'm just gonna grab a granola bar I haven't eaten today. Just a second.
So this was a bulk test. This was like a virality test. So I hit the business with 50 clicks a day for a week. They were with no driving directions, I don't think, but they had engagement. So the bot went to the Google, searched for the keyword, found the business on Google Maps, basically interacted with the map, with the knowledge panel or the map pack, clicked on the reviews, the photos, the services, clicked on the about, and then I don't think it did the driving directions. I'm not 100% sure, maybe it did. But for a week, it had 50 clicks. And initially, from the 6th of November onwards, it didn't really sort of increase too much. But then I checked it again a month later, and this was 3 weeks after or more, like this was a month after the clicks actually stopped, and the businesses just shot up everywhere. And
That's
I did the
nice.
same thing. I did the same thing on another business, and the same thing happened. And this was a solicitor. So this is quite like the first one wasn't so competitive, skip higher. I just chose an easy target. But this one was quite competitive and it's quite a large increase in this sort of area. And again, same thing, about 50 clicks a day for a week. Engagement. And then a month later, after the extra clicks stopped, the ranking was considerably higher. I was pretty happy with them. Because initially it didn't do too much in the first week. Like it went up a little bit. Grids like this are difficult because it's sort of when they rank in some places and not in others, like it means that they're not either super competitive in these areas or Google's like sort of trying to figure out where to put them.
All right, sorry, this is exclusively running your bot.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Wow.
Yeah, so it's a mobile-based bot. Everything runs on Android and it does interactions. So it'll interact with all of the menu items on the knowledge panel or on the results page on maps. And then it actually clicks on the driving directions button, opens Google Maps, like opens the native app in the Android, and then drives to the location of the business.
Does it do it from logged into a Google account of some sort, or does it do it just completely?
It's a fresh browser, but we are looking into trying to add accounts, but it's tricky with the volume because you can't keep jumping around different cities with accounts and
Yeah, exactly. That's
expect
my fear.
results.
So you kind of just hope it.
Hopefully we'll
it's
get
an
hopefully we'll
incognito
get
browser
something
basically
sorted.
going through this.
It's a it's not an incognito, it's like it's a normal browser, it just doesn't have history. It's just a fresh reset every time.
Okay.
Which definitely plays a part. I mean, accounts do help, like for sure. If you've got logged in users searching for your stuff, it definitely has a big impact. But that's not to say that non-logged in users don't exist. And I mean, you can tell by the results that clearly had some impact.
Because I mean, I'd be open for, providing a Google account that's, set to a hometown near a client and has some credibility already in that particular area. And if your bot could log into that account and then run with it, I think that would be a lot more of a positive result. I don't know if it's not really scalable, but
It's not really scalable in the sense of like,
just,
I mean, accounts, the amount of accounts you need, like to run one click from one account, to run 2 clicks a day from the same account every day. It's not the same as 2 clicks a day from different accounts. Or even to be honest, I think it would be better. I think you'd be better off running a click or 2 clicks a day from no account, like a fresh browser, than you would be from the same account. I think that's like an anomaly when it comes to Google. Like if the same person is going to the website twice a day or once a day or 3 times a day, I think that would sort of discredit that after a point.
that's true. Yep. And can you, it's not able to isolate your IP address in any way to know that, if you're jump into North America.
So my firm opinion is because they're mobiles, Google doesn't look at the IP. They just look at the fact that it's a 4G proxy.
Okay.
When you're doing like desktop-based spoofing using like Chromium or Selenium or something like that, and it's a desktop browser and like Google reads the device as a desktop, like most bots, yes, the local IP is quite important of the country. But I think when it comes to mobile phones, it's much less important because Google sees that it's like an Android device with a genuine like user agent and everything. And they're like, well, that's a mobile. Let's stop checking to save resources. At least
Okay.
that's what I believe. A
I
lot of people disagree with me, but that's my opinion.
I mean, I have an
But
open
when it
mind
comes to
when it
like
comes
just
to it.
normal bots like scraping and like any Selenium based Chromium bot, the IP has more of an importance.
And that's where people obviously are just throwing out VPNs and believing that they can manipulate it enough. I like your strategy more. I think that makes more sense, using a Android and hopefully not having it attached to anything. I don't know if they go to the extent of checking who the provider is. If it's suddenly coming in through Vodafone, then suddenly jumping to, Virgin in North America or something like that. That I don't know if they go to that extent, but yeah,
Yeah, with mobiles, I don't think they do. I think mainly it's based on like verifying that the device is genuine and that the internet connection matches what it sort of should be, rather than trying to get the location of the IP to check that it matches the location of the phone. So as long as the checks pass, as long as it is a 4G proxy, like if you try to use a data center proxy, like proxy through a mobile phone, okay, that's going to be suspicious because that never happens. But I think if Google sees that 4G TIG or 5G proxy, or if it's a mobile hotspot, or if it's connected to Wi-Fi, it's automatically like, yep, that passes.
I like it.
So guys, we are
Okay.
coming up to the 60-minute mark. I just want to be respectful of everybody's time and Riz's time zone. I know it's getting late where he's at. I liked it. I like a good call today, good round table. Reese, I think you can agree, right? A lot of
Definitely.
interaction.
Nice to chat, Kyle. Great to meet you. Thanks for the
Thank you very
interesting
much for fielding
conversations.
my questions.
Yeah, absolutely. And every other week, Kyle, feel free to hop on here. We like to pick a topic and then cover it. Usually Briz is my CTR buddy. We'll text, message each other. Hey, I'm having struggle here. Do you see the same thing? So we'll go back and forth a little bit. But guys, with that said, I appreciate everyone that's here. Those that are catching the replay. Hopefully you got some insight, how to look at this CTR thing in your agency and to help you grow or get results for your client. So I appreciate everyone. Thank you for your support. Again, with that being said, much love and much success, and I'll see you on the next one.
Thanks, guys. Enjoy yourself.